Hi everyone, Lisa and Dan here from Fireside Strategic. We're on a mission to help business leaders achieve great results through human-centered strategy. We believe that businesses don't need to choose between investing in their humans and generating profit because it's humans that create profit. In the Fireside Chat series, we're showcasing how leaders are transcending the challenges of the coronavirus crisis and broadly unite strategic and human thinking and leadership. Today, we're excited to chat with Danny Mizrahi, CEO of Contango IT. Danny, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. It's not too exciting, but CEO and founder of Contango IT. It's about 10 years old. We're on the Inc. 5000, number 24, 22 on the Inc. 5000, America's fastest growing companies. We've won a Culture Award for CEO Report magazine. We've been on the Future 50 for Smart CEO magazine, 50 fastest growing companies in New York. We have about 75 people across my IT company and my cybersecurity company. It's a different company, but it's all kind of part of the same thing. We do IT support, wiring, infrastructure, and custom programming, and we have 40 people just doing cybersecurity.
Sounds
and
great.
Personal, I'm happily married. Today's my wife's birthday. Happy birthday to her. She's 25 now. No, I'm just kidding. We have three small children, 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. That's Shayna, Oakley, and Rocco. And we live in Manhattan, but right now we escaped the city and we are surrounded by deer in Pennsylvania, and just trying to get away for a couple of weeks while keep a little bit of our sanity, you know?
I mean, that sounds pretty lovely in the grand scheme of things.
Sure.
Danny, could you tell us a little bit about how you got to where you did today? How did you become the CEO of Contango and your cybersecurity company?
Sure. So, I was a director of sales and marketing for an IT company that was doing similar services. And basically, at that time, things weren't going so well at that company. The cloud, this whole idea of cloud computing, this is 10 years ago, cloud computing started to being a pretty hot topic. At that point, I decided to leave that company, start Contango IT. Really, our entire business was cloud consulting 10 years ago. That was pretty early. That was before iCloud and before Hurricane Sandy. And those two things really helped our company grow very, very fast because just it started becoming more mainstream, this whole cloud computing idea. Our first probably biggest win was we were Google. If you're familiar with Google's email system, G Suite, we were Google's first channel partner in the world. So we were doing a lot of G Suite migrations very early on. We were Amazon partners 9 years ago, so doing a lot of server migrations early on. And then as, of course, the people started to catch up in terms of moving their clients to the cloud or consulting on the cloud, we started expanding our offerings into building out office space. We do a lot of wiring and then custom programming. And then now our biggest team is in cybersecurity, where we do a lot of what's called penetration testing, or we have 8 certified ethical hackers. We are one of 200 qualified security assessors in the world. It's a totally different type of business, but a very hot one right now.
Great. That gives us a good sense of what the company does. Curious to learn a little bit more about the people behind the company. So tell us a bit about those 75 people. What are they like?
What are they like? Well, they all eat, breathe, bath, poop, whatever you want to call it, the core values. We are very core value driven. We recite the core values together every Friday morning. The company huddles, we do a lot of company huddles. Our core values, everyone in the company is committed to those 6 things, right? We stay in Contango, which is basically always improving. We are obsessed with the customer experience. We do the right thing. We're professionals. We keep charging forward, and we work together and support each other. So we hire and fire on the core values. I was being asked a similar question recently, and what am I thankful for? And certainly my teams, meaning the people, the executive team internally, who make it so that I can actually survive, and not just survive, but thrive in a situation like this. hanging out with my kids from time to time, helping my wife who's also working. So it's also, we have to keep switching off. We're also teachers now, so everyone's became a teacher all of a sudden. My wife at home is just incredible teammate. And then the guys in the office and the girls in the office, they're just really support me in so many different ways and really thriving. So, the executive team has all been with us for many years. The staff, we have 40 people in our Israel office doing the cybersecurity work, and I have a partner there that manages it. And then I have a CTO here who's been with me for about 8 years, who's now a partner in the company. He's earned equity in the company, and he really runs the technology side of it. We have a service delivery manager that's running day-to-day operations. I have a team of 3 assistants that have been great for basically 3 of them are in the Philippines, and they're my assistants, and they really help me with everything. I mean, they write my emails and they manage my CRM and they do our follow-ups and the proposal creation and manage my LinkedIn and my social media and this, that. And so everyone around me has been just so instrumental for our growth as a team and helping me focus on, the cliche work on the business, not in the business, right? And really help me with doing the 2 things that I really like, which is one, the people process and really the hiring part, the coaching part, the motivating part of the people process, then reviews. And then the other thing is business development. The more I'm out there talking to the people, the more our business grows, whether it's through partnerships or whether it's just through sales, people that want to do business with us.
Wonderful. I'm curious to pick up on one of the first things you said, which is that you hire and fire for company values. So I'm curious, in your hiring process, can you give me an example of how you might interview for values that you know are instrumental for you?
Sure. Well, we really go pretty hard on the A method of hiring by Jeff Smart. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that book. It's an amazing book on a methodology of hiring. So it really helps you from everything from the job description, hiring people who have done the job before, to the phone screen is super important. And, even simple things like, we keep charging forward as one of our core values, right? And it talks about, finding our limits and creating new ones. And it's really just about like, what does hard work actually mean? So, when even in the phone screen, we do a 10-minute phone screen just to rule people out, right? And we'll ask a question in the phone screen very simply, what's the hardest you've ever worked? And at that point, you really start learning about people, what they think of is hard work, right? So some people think of hard work as, I had this firewall that I didn't know what to do, and I Googled it, and then I figured it out. And then you have people that say, well, I mean, this server crashed and I basically had to stay up and sleep in the server room for 3 days until this company was back up. And, by the way, I was in school at the same time and I got an A, and then, I have 2 kids at home. And, it's like, then you hear, the difference between what people think hard work is. And that's just one of the core values, certainly the reference check process, again, going back to that who method of, it's called who, the A method of hiring by Jeff Smart. So they have great reference check questions. It's like, so a lot of those are helpful in understanding if they are professional. What are the things they get frustrated about? You can't just ask like, where's their area of improvement? Where do you think they should improve, right? Because it's a stupid generic question. But if you ask a reference, can you rate them on a scale from 1 to 10? It's very rare anyone gets a 10. And now they open the door, right? So now I could say, okay, great. Now how do I get them from an 8 to a 10? And they have to say something, right? Because they were like, oh, I guess I had something in mind, right? So that's just little tricks of the trade that we use to try to really figure out if these are the right people for us. And then, the third interview, we often take a whole group of people. We go to a restaurant down the block at the end of the third interview. We tell them this ahead of time. We have to say restaurant now and not bar, because we've had an issue where someone said, I don't think I was hired because I didn't drink, which wasn't true. He wasn't qualified compared to someone else we were looking at for the same position. And at the end of the day, we learn a lot about those situations when we all go out together. Sometimes people are drinking and sometimes people are not drinking. And of course, it doesn't matter. It's just more about seeing, a lot of it's seeing about their manners? Are they nice to the servers? Are they polite? Do they say please and thank you? I mean, that means a lot to us, and that also is going to go back to the other core value of being obsessed with the customer experience, right? And also being professional. We say how we look, how we act, how we speak. So I guess just overall, the hiring process really helps us out with that.
It's wonderful to see a CEO who cares so much about culture. Why? Why do you care so much about the people? Why do you care so much about culture?
It works. I've read so much on happiness in the workplace, happiness in general. We care so much about the core values because, and we care so much about culture because of the fact that it works. There's a lot of studies about bringing in happiness into the workplace. I know Sean Anker wrote The Happiness Advantage. There's a great book on that, where, the more productivity, happiness in the workplace leads to better people, more retention. They work harder, they work smarter, they communicate more, and that's part of one of our core values is work together and support each other. These are all things that without a happy culture, you just don't get, and then we say we recognize slumps and fight through them in our core values. You can't do that without a good culture either, because people can't talk to each other. You need to have that open door policy. Or one of my technicians a long time ago said, I have a no door policy, not even an open door policy. And I was very proud, and I got choked up when he said that, because I was very proud that he felt so, eager to talk to me about anything. Of course, there's certain things I probably shouldn't be talking to them about, some personal stuff, but it happens. But yeah, I think generally speaking, it just works to have a happy culture. And also, frankly, I came from a place where my ex-boss was like the meanest guy in the world, and everyone would just quit after they became experts in something and they could get like a better job, right? Or they just didn't show up on important days, or they were late to everything, or they left early every day, right? I mean, they just, Simon Sinek, right? He says great leaders inspire action, right? So, these are all things, and I'm a reading junkie, as you might could already tell already. But yeah, I mean, I just learn a lot about this topic, and it works.
Makes perfect sense. Speaking of culture, curious how the Corona crisis has impacted your culture.
And Lisa and I talked briefly about this last week or so, but I feel like this is something that we've been prepared for. I know we weren't actually prepared for it. No one was really prepared for this kind of craziness. But the team is so strong and bonds so well, and cares about each other so much that you just see so many people volunteering, like the guys that are the guys and gals that are in the city, that are not taking care of elderly or don't have asthma issues, are the first ones to jump in and say, hey, I can go, because we are technically considered an essential service because of the telecommunications and the infrastructure part of our jobs. And we have a lot of clients that are in nonprofits, they're in healthcare. So we need to, work when we have to work, if it's an emergency, of course. So everyone really support each other. And then, we had so much fun on Friday. We played Family Feud together on Zoom. And I don't know how, my partner, Pat, and he's our CTO, he had this Zoom thing, this website where the whole Family Feud was set up. We had to buzz in, and first it was Family Feud. And then you get 3 strikes and it goes to the other team. And it was so much fun. The week before that, we did basically a version of Jeopardy where people chatted it in and chatted in the answers. And it's been a lot of fun. And we chat all the time. We have video conferencing all the time. So we haven't, I miss them. I miss their faces. I miss seeing everyone in the office. I like dedicating that energy in the office, because I'm a workaholic also. So it's been tough, but I think our culture was kind of prepared for this. I mean, to be honest, I just want to keep doing the same stuff, keep growing the company, keep having happier people, keep being more profitable, keep sharing the wealth with the team. If we're making more money, we want the team to be making more money. We don't really want to change too much of what we're doing. We just want to get better at what we're doing, learn from mistakes, keep growing. stay in Contango. That's our first core value. Contango is a commodities expression. That means the future is higher than the present. That's what we strive for, constant improvement. So that's what we want to do. We want to stay in Contango.
I'm so struck by how diversified you are with that IT skill set. There's so many different kinds of problems you can solve, right? From international banking to security, so many different kinds of problems.
Yeah, we positioned ourselves on purpose for that. There's areas we don't do, but at the end of the day, we wanted clients to be able to come to us for pretty high level issues, projects. If it's just project based, that's fine. If it's just hacking based, we do a lot of what's called penetration testing. We have a 98% success rate with penetration testing. So if you tell us to hack something and you sign off on it, we'll probably get it done. 98% chance. So it's been good.
Curious in a moment like this, we're all serious. There's all kinds of stuff going on. There's all kinds of problems in the world. How are you having fun in a moment like this? Are you bringing lightness to life and finding ways to have fun amidst the moment?
Personally or professionally?
Personally.
Personally, so it's like, my wife's an introvert and I'm an extrovert, and there's a lot of memes about like hug the extroverts around you right now because they're dying slowly, right? um so now I'm starting to learn a little bit more about myself in terms of like I think these are important for me to start talking to other people. I wasn't doing too many Zoom conference calls, and maybe doing a couple more of the Zoom happy hours that people are. I'm in a lot of networking groups and organizations, and there are a lot of that going on, and I should probably do a little bit more of those. We moved, our family like a week and a half ago or something like that, to the boondocks. Like I said, there was literally 9 deers outside. If I showed you pictures, you would laugh. They came like this close to our faces, by the window. We are city folk. We live on the Upper East Side of Manhattan in a very small apartment with 3 kids. So to get out here and be in this area with Walmart being 10 minutes away is just incredible. Walmart is quite an experience. So no, but all things, like we made a campfire a couple nights ago and we made s'mores. So branching out a little bit out of the comfort zone a little bit is fun. Frankly, hanging out with my family is really fun. Hanging out with the kids is fun. I just got to really stay in the moment and just kind of like, and I'm improving on that, right? Like not think about work when I'm with them. And, when I'm at work, try to not think about them, although it's hard, right? Obviously in close quarters. But it's great. I think you have to look at the brighter side of things. I've never had dinner with my family so many nights in a row. How cool is that, right? So, it's all good. I think the positive mindset is really important as well. And we're in such a better position than most of the people out there, so we're very blessed to be in a business that's still functioning, blessed to have our health, and blessed to have the ability to skip town for a little bit, if we wanted to get away from town for a little bit. And we're excited to go home too. We miss our home as well.
That sounds lovely. I'm a little jealous about those deer. Not too many of those in Brooklyn, which is where I am. Danny, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. We learned a lot and we really appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.